Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new live stream about Hattrick. Today, we will be talking about our newest league, Hattrick Femme International, the first women's league in Hattrick, the first of hopefully many leagues in the game featuring female players and staff. And to celebrate that, I'm joined here by my usual, I would call them stream mates, HT Johan, the boss, and HT Tassos, the product manager. Hey, hi guys, how are you?
Hi, Chase. We are fine. How are you? Excited
I'm
to be here again.
excited, yeah. And also, today we have another HT that I don't know if I'll call her correctly, but it's our dev team lead, and it's HT-Gusy. Hi, Gusy, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. I think it's the first time I am welcoming you on a stream.
Yeah, that's correct.
I've been looking forward to that, and I remember that when I started on Hattrick, I saw that you had been interviewed. I don't know if it was a few months before I entered, so it's not your first time here in Hattrick Direct or whatever we call that channel. But first of all, how are you as energy? Because you've been working really hard, I think.
Well, if you would have asked that question last Friday, I would have said you wouldn't need to ask because you would be able to see me. But now a bit better, but it has been hard work, I have to say.
So you're not really happy to have this women's league, right?
No, I'm of course I'm thrilled. I've been wanting to have it for a long time. It's just that it has been just a little bit stressful, but still happy and excited that we're finally there.
Because when did it start actually, the whole project of Hattrick Femme?
The whole idea or the actual decision, let's do it now?
Both. Let's start with the whole idea.
I mean, I think the idea, Johan might correct me on this, but I think the idea started with the World Cup that was like 2 years ago or something, when the boom started with the female football.
I think it was more like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, well, time flies.
That's right.
Am I on or not?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, of course, like vaguely the idea has existed longer than that, but we always knew it was going to be a huge project. So it has become more and more interesting to do it in the last years.
And so the building of the project, when did it start? Was it like 3 months ago, more or less?
In this project, one of the huge parts has been the texts, right? Because, I mean, for people who don't know, Hattrick has tens of thousands of tiny, small texts that are translated by LAs. And those tens of thousands of texts needed to be first reviewed, like which ones refer to players in general or personas in Hattrick, or how many are just not neutral and can be left as they are, and then took all of those to our LAs, and so they would be able to start feminizing the text, and depending on the languages, could be like a quite hard task. So we started with the tools for LAs, and that was like 6 months ago or something.
It was definitely a hot issue already in October, so maybe in September or something like that, when we actually decided to go.
So that's actually one of the things that I guess people don't realize how much work it involves. Me, myself, I didn't. And I had been in LA, actually. But when I realized about how many things had to be feminized and how tricky that was, I was really thankful for the LAs for all their job, not only in translations, but also feminizing or genderizing the whole website. How many texts do you think had to be feminized, more or less?
Can I
Tassels.
answer that?
Yeah.
Okay.
24,000 piece of text, and that can be a single word to a big chunk of text, like a paragraph. So yeah, LA had to go through that for like 24,000 piece of
That's
text. That was like a huge job.
that's huge. So what were these texts more or less? We had a game like match events, for instance.
It was five different types. So, it's the events that we see post match, after like the match. We have the live events that we see during the match. We have the youth events.
Hmm.
Actually, there are four types, and we have the website texts. So everything that you see when you navigate through the site. So they
Hmm.
had to go through every single piece of those texts and feminize them. Of course, not every language had to do that. Some languages they had like to do minimum work because they only had to change words like boy, girl, man, woman. But there are languages that they have to change exactly like how the text is
Yeah,
being used.
like for example, English is an easy language because it's basically when you say like he or him or stuff like that. But then you get like Spanish, where every mention of the player or a characteristic of a player needs to have a gender. And then I've seen like other languages that I don't know and don't understand, but is even more like they were asking, we need like to be feminized the text about formation experience, like stuff like even my brain can grasp like, okay, how the way the players are displayed on the field is different for male and female. It's very impressive how languages work. And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard, I guess, also because the game was, I guess, written in English since the almost the very beginning. So it wasn't really thought when I guess 1997 that there would be like a female version of the game. So there were probably some challenges for you two devs to include a way to feminize or a way for LAs to write the female version of texts and then detect if that text belongs to a male or a female. How hard is this?
That was I mean the biggest first we needed like an approach, right? How are we going to do there? Are we going to duplicate the text and just try to pick the correct one? Are we going to put tags inside the text, so every time we talk about a player then we have like choose female, male, or all of those? But turns out that since we had this idea a few years ago, then actually some groups already started, and then they started with two options, two versions of the same text. So some LA spent quite a big amount of hours on that. So we just yeah, scrap that. Plus, having the tag would mean like a big chance for bugs. So we decided to go with the two versions, and then there's the question, which version should we pick?
Mhm.
So then after that was the biggest struggle and my biggest worry from the beginning of the whole project, the text. So then I said like, okay, so we have a left menu, so let's go from that. Like most of the time that left menu has a theme, so then we just take that and put all the text from that gender. So that was the point. So then we did that. It was a rather simple solution that fixed like, I don't know, 80% of the cases. And then we started taking the context. Obviously, if a match, because now everything has a context, right? Like a match, a league, a youth league, a player, a team. Now everything has a context. It's or a gender, so to speak. So then, we started working around that, and then there were like the loose ends, and now there are still some that hasn't. There are still a few left to pick, but the list was huge. So now I'm happy to say that it looks like it's working most of the time.
There are some things that still have to be tweaked, I guess, and not only in text, but there's always the recurring question about the full body avatars, the match kits. There's a lot of things that need to be done to have a fully working female version or female universe. So what can we say about these things that are not yet ready for the users?
Well, the kids and the female and the full body avatars are the same for us. They're like grouped together because in order to have full body avatar, the way the kit designer works is that when you save your match kit, then it's like the bodies are saved, like those images of the bodies wearing the kit, so to speak. And that is outsourced, so it's hard. Like, it doesn't depend on us, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have fixed it by now. But I think it's coming soon. And then when we have the kit designer, then the full bodies will come either together or very shortly after. So yeah, I've been missing them. I mean, it's sad that all matches look the same with the same match kits, but hopefully soon we will have that.
Yeah, I'm so really looking forward to that because I love creating my match kits, and I know what I want to do, but I cannot do it yet.
That's part of your identity. But and a tip for our users is that you can build it for your male team and then store the file or export it and then import it in the female team. So you can start designing. You can have it like ready, and then it might be just some details to make it work for female. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, meanwhile, I'd like to just say one thing. You probably have seen some URL here below and this QR code. This is a quiz that will allow 10 people to win an invitation to Hattrick Femme International. It's, if I counted them correctly, 12 questions about Hattrick and women's football. So the 10 people who will get most questions right will earn the invitations. In case of a tie, the earlier answers will be the winners. So you can start now if you want to reply to these questions while you pay attention to us, of course. And you can also write questions for us, for Gusy, now that we have her here, and also for the future guest that we will have in a few minutes from the staff, from the volunteer staff. So, guys, first of all, the four of us, if you have seen any questions that you would like to reply to or highlight, please tell me, because I haven't been able to take a look at any of the questions that have been asked yet. So we were talking about the LAs too, and there's also another thing that I'm not sure we haven't mentioned. It's the names of the players. I don't know if you mentioned it to us before, but I don't think you did.
No. I didn't.
Uh,
And that's something that I think the best one to talk about is Johan, because it's
yeah,
one area of the game that I haven't been involved.
exactly. So, Johan, what can you say
All
about
right.
the female lists of names?
Yeah, I mean, so the way names work in Hattrick is that we have like a list of first names and a list of family names, and they are connected to a language, and each league has or league or country has a mix of languages, like basically ethnicities that live in that country. So that's why Sweden, for example, will have some Finns and Danes and so on as well. Those, I mean, for the men, those name lists were created by us a long time ago when those leagues open, and then typically the LAs and moderators have filled up the list so that it gives more variety, and in some cases like tens of thousands of names in each. So when we were creating or preparing for the female leagues, obviously we needed names for all nations in Hattrick, because in the international Hattrick Femme International, you can base your team anywhere, even though it's just one league. So we had to review all those name databases. But that's not the only problem. You would think, if you're Swedish that or English, that the family names don't need to be replaced, because it doesn't change whether you're male or female. But unfortunately, there's a lot of languages that want to be exotic and special, and they have gender-based family names. So, like, for example, many Slavic or all Slavic maybe languages have that. So that means that we needed to replace also the family names. And so basically this work, I used to do it, and this is like one of the few things I think in Hattrick that basically I have always been the one doing for the the first set of names for a new league. And it used to be that I did it by actually browsing around the internet and finding people from that country, and their parliaments and sports teams and all sorts of stuff that I could verify myself that it was a real name. And that took enormous amounts of time. So I couldn't do that now with 150 nations. So I must admit that there was some help here from our AI friends. But the way I did it was very structured. So it was following the process that I had done myself, like how I would think about it, like go out and looking on these kinds of sites and find the names, and then you remove everything that doesn't belong to this cultural setting and so on. So it was quite advanced, but still in the end, when I presented it to the LAs and they could look at them, I got some negative feedback. But overall, I think it was a pretty good process, and they of course got the chance to quality check it before we went live, and they always have that privilege. So yeah, that's basically how it worked.
Yeah, actually, it's a bit what you said was like a starting list of names. So
yeah,
just if the LAs didn't have enough on their plate, imagine if they had to compile the list of names for their own languages, which some of them
and
did.
Also, yeah, but it's also like, I know how they are, so they would want the perfect list. So it was better that I said, I'm gonna do this, you don't worry about it, and then you can tell me that it's not good enough, at the time of the launch, and then we fix it later. But in reality, I mean, it's not that many team per country that's gonna get created, and most of those players are gonna be fired anyway. So So this is the name database. I think they are already good or okay to good, but they're gonna improve very quickly. So I'm not worried about that.
Perfect. So I see many questions about basic stuff of the Hattrick International, Hattrick Femme International League, and so maybe we could explain a bit the basics. For instance, it's a homegrown league at the beginning. There will be no transfer market, at least during the first few seasons. Maybe there will be someday a transfer market starting really controlled, or maybe or almost sure, in a controlled way, which probably means like a limited number of transfers, very limited number of transfers per team and season. And eventually it will be a fully open transfer market. Then it doesn't occupy any additional team slot from supporters at the moment. But then after the 30th of March, it will. And they will be able also to open new teams, like secondary or third, 2-3 more teams if they want, if they have, of course, the additional slots to do so, platinum and diamond supporters. So that would be the basics of.
I think it's the basic of the basic. How do I get a team?
How do I get a team? Okay, you can reply to that question, Gusy.
Yeah. So everyone with a supporter subscription could be from silver to diamond, as long as it doesn't matter how long you have left of that. If you have it right now, then you can apply. Go to your manager page and click for apply for an additional team. You will get it for free, as Roger said, first 6 seasons. If you're not a supporter, then you can either buy with the current offer, or you can ask for an invitation. Everyone who bought during the Christmas campaign, they have invitations, or with QR code and earn one. But yeah, I've seen some forums, there are like coordination threads for people who want and have invites. So yeah, you need an invitation.
Yeah, exactly. You can join in the global forum, or I've seen in some national forums as well, a thread to exchange invites. That is, I need an invite, I'm giving an invite, match, like Tinder. So I think in France they do something like that. They call it like Tinder or something like that. I think so. So it's a match. There are actually a few questions related to that from what I could see. Let me get them. For instance, this one, we could answer to this one. If I want to have more than one Hattrick Femme International team, why only one of the teams will be allowed to participate in the first season's cup? That's a bit unfair. Okay, who wants to take this one?
Yeah, I already answered it in the chat, actually. Well, so I guess this user wants to get a second team, right? And the thing is, I mean, like we need to draw the cup, and it's already been delayed. It usually happens earlier. So we have delayed it. Sorry, it was drawn
today.
Yeah, it was drawn today, exactly. And usually it would have been drawn last week.
No.
Okay.
It's usually
it was
1 week
delayed.
before less than 24 hours. It's usually 1 week before the first match. So.
Okay. Right. But that's so obviously we want to keep the registration open even after the cup is drawn. It's played in 1 week from now, but the only way to get into the cup is to register before the cup draw. So unfortunately, that's not possible if you want more than one team.
Everything is too complicated here. There's so much stuff going on in the Hattrick year or the Hattrick season, Hattrick calendar, that you have to go like that to fit everything. And sometimes,
but the thing is that, like, I think many people think like we can just turn it off and wait, like, but everything happens on like a real schedule, a real calendar. So if we stop things and postpone or move, it creates a lot of problems in going forward. And I mean, yeah, but it's basically we never do it, and we're really careful not to do it.
Okay. That's one of the things actually that we could mention too, because I've seen a question here, but I'd like to introduce it first because some users may not be aware of the news that we had today. Today we have reshuffled the league. So all teams have moved. Of course, I'm talking about HFI. They have moved from the 8th division to the 7th. So the 8th division is closed, I guess. Now
Yeah.
I haven't checked, but it's closed.
I hope it is. I closed it.
So all new teams are now entering directly in the 7th division, and the teams that were in the 8th have been promoted with the bonus included in the promotion.
With a fan bonus, no money.
Yeah, exactly, fan bonus, because teams have in 7th division start with 450 fans.
Yes.
And the teams that started in the 8th division started with 400, so it's less. But with the 10% of the promotion, it's more or less the same, plus the fans that we've been getting in the previous week. So this is one of the things. Then we have actually have 2,048 groups, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Which would fit like 16,000 team.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have like 12,000 teams now created with human managers at the moment. So there are a few empty slots. And there are some divisions that are almost empty of human teams, which are mainly of bots.
Yeah,
what are these for?
Just a quick comment. There were some series. They are not anymore. They have been filled up with new registrations.
Yeah, but there are just 2 of them, I think. The last time I checked, there were 2 teams.
It will be
it's not. Yeah, so there's no completely empty division, but well, there are some divisions with 6 empty slots, 7 the last time I checked. So what are these divisions empty for? What's the point?
Taxes.
What's the point to have those empty series? So tomorrow the series swapping will, like the window for series swapping will open. So everyone can swap once to another series. So if you want to play with a friend, if you want to make a group of friends, you can move around to the division and find one of those series and play with your mates. So we did it in purpose, so you can do that, because we couldn't in any other way to reshuffle it with knowing where you want to end up. So yeah.
Perfect. So there's also another thing that has been done today, which is the cup draw. So all the teams that registered before this, what was that, noon?
No, I think it was like 4 grand.
Okay. All these teams have a match in the first round of the cup. The rest, as we just mentioned a few minutes before, will not be able to take part in the cup this season, but they will in the next one. So this is more or less the news of the things that we did today, right? I'm not forgetting anything.
Yeah, and just a clarification that usually from Division 7 and below, there are divisional cups that like the division has their own cup, but we decided that since all the teams are in Division 7, then they will be in the main cup.
Mm-hmm.
And that will remain. So even when teams promote to 6th division, then all teams will be in the main comp as long as there is room for them. So 16,000 something.
Perfect. So we're having secondary cups as well.
Yes. But no division.
Exactly. Great. So do you guys see any questions that you'd like to reply to?
There was one earlier asking how many teams will promote to the Division 6. So we have the series table is updated, so you can see that the top 4 will promote, unless we have to change something in the Division 6, which I doubt. But yeah, right now it is updated, and you can see it in the series table.
Perfect. Let's reply to this question because I'm looking forward to that. We need a spokesperson to announce the changes or what we can expect in the Women's League. There are so many unanswered questions. What can we say about that? Okay. It's hard to announce all those things that we're doing lately. Like yesterday, we had to publish some information. Today, we had to publish some information. And it had to be fast. So the way we had to announce that was in a system information message, which is not ideal, I would say, because it's a bit less visible. It's supposed to be about information about the system, but it's a channel that we use sometimes for quick messages. Also, of course, we've announced that in the forums as well, which is not the main place to announce that, but it's the main place to have a debate about that. So the thing is that we could have released the My Hattrick message, but that would have taken a while because LAs need to translate it first, while system information messages are quicker. I mean, they're released at the moment, and people don't expect them to have them in their own language immediately. So it's not ideal, but I think that it will be improved in the future, right, Tassos? I think there's a plan for giving more visibility to that.
Yeah, when we finally publish the new My Office and dashboard, they will probably get some better visibility there.
Perfect. So
just to comment on that, there have been many questions in the forum that the answer is in the HFI FAQ page, a static page that we already have announced there everything. So I would suggest everyone go there and read. We haven't changed anything from there, even like the reshuffling, even the Division 7, everything has been pre-announced there. Of course, bugs and fixes, those are announced in the system information, but most, like I would say like 99% of everything else are either in the editorial or in that static page.
Perfect. Yeah, for instance, like this question. Is it the only way to keep a women's team after 6 months is to purchase the Diamond supporter package plus the additional team? It's not really like that. It's Platinum plus additional team, or Diamond, which includes everything. But yeah,
also it's not 6 months; it's 6 seasons. So
6 seasons.
It's more than 2 years.
Exactly.
It's almost 2 years, I think.
Yeah, it's almost 2 years.
Until January 2028. So
yeah,
that's
but
also...
just to clarify, there is no plus. Like Platinum gives you access to one additional team already, and Diamond to all of them, right?
Exactly.
All of the teams that we allow. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so you will never, as a Diamond, you will never need to buy an additional team. Basically.
Exactly, unless you have one already. I mean, one extra additional team, and you want another one. Yeah. So many of these questions are in the frequently answered asked questions. That's the FAQ. It feels a bit bad sometimes to say, hey, this has been answered there, but I've been in the forums and many of the questions that were asked were already there, and I don't have any problem myself replying to these questions again. But if it takes me like 2 hours to reply to the question and the answer is in the FAQ, it's faster. for users to go there, and I feel bad that I've kept them waiting. So it's good if people can take a look at that. It's actually easy to find. You just have to go to World, then select the league at Hattrick Femme International, and then on the upper right box you have a link, also called, I think, Hattrick Femme International, with the information about it. So maybe it's time now to introduce our guest, a special guest for today, besides Gusy, but someone who's not from the HT team, and she's actually a senior mod, even though in her nickname there's no mod but GM, which is something that she will have to explain. So please welcome Heko. How are you, Heko?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for inviting me
It's
to
a
this
pleasure.
great chat. And okay, I will explain. The G in GM in my nickname doesn't stand for Game Master. It stands for Greater Moderator.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Okay, it was a joke. That was a joke. I am a Game Master as well, but I generally only handle bug reports. From all the GM work, I usually just do bug reports.
So how did you experience the beginning when we said that, when we announced that there would be a Hattrick Femme International or Hattrick Femme Universe? What was your reaction?
Oh, for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. People who know me have noticed that I have kept one team throughout my years with Hattrick, even though I have been a staff member throughout all these years when it was already possible to have more teams, because I just don't think that I could be involved with more than one team just as deeply. But of course, I noticed that there was an increased activity on forums, which is always great. I'm always happy when people come to the forums to talk, to discuss, to ask questions, even if they ask the same questions over and over again. But
So,
it's great to delegate. There are users who have already learned the answer, and they will answer these people. And it's a great thing about Hattrick forums. It has always been, because you can come there with questions and someone will answer.
Exactly. What forums are you usually on? I guess the Czech forum?
The Czech national and non-HT forum. I sometimes speak at the Slovak forum as well, because the languages are very close. I read the question forums of both the countries, because so many of our users just picked one of them. They don't even know one is Czech and one is Slovak. They just pick one of them and use them. And then I follow a little bit of questions English when I have the time. And then I follow all of the staff forums. At least all the general ones. And of course, the ones where I'm involved. So those have been also rather busy.
Good. First of all, if anyone has questions for Heko now that we have her here, please ask them in the chat. Or of course, Jürgen, Tassos, Gusy, if you have anything to ask her or to mention, please do. The main question I have now would be, well, if you have any questions, I think someone was starting to ask a question, maybe, any of you?
Well, I was gonna. I mean, we were supposed to have an L. We also had invited an LA to the stream, and they have had more work to do, like leading up to the release. But now the moderators, I'm sure, have their share also of the work. But Heko, like, how have you been able to, because you're with the LAs in your staff group and so on, like how has it been from your side, the translation project? I'm sure you have heard from your colleagues that have been translating.
Actually, they have been
just 1 second
very
first.
quiet.
Yeah, just that we invited Annalay, but unfortunately she got sick, so that's why she didn't join. She had said yes, but she got
Yeah,
sick.
that's what usually happens when you work so hard for 3 months and
Yes.
then suddenly you get sick. So please, Heko.
Yes, to answer Johan's question, I haven't really heard from our allies much. I think it's because they have been so busy. Because Czech is one of those Slavic languages which is very difficult because the gender is everywhere. It's really it's everywhere. It's all nouns or pronouns, and in some cases verbs. And
So
just
we have
pops
to
out.
we have to.
They had a lot of work.
Yeah. You've helped us make our system better, because we've been forced to implement all this intelligent management of the genders now, because of thanks to the Slavic languages.
I'll accept it on behalf of my ancestors who came up with this complicated language.
Yeah.
So regarding the moderator's job, is it any harder now with the addition of HFI? Or is there any change?
I don't think it's harder. There's always an increase of activity around a big release, like with every big news. So there is more to do, but so far, at least for our users in Czechia and Slovakia, we haven't noticed much misbehaving. They were, of course, griping a bit because there were bugs, there were obstacles, but they were really very nice about it. Just grumbled a bit and accepted it will take some time to resolve. And thanks to Gusy and her team, everything has been resolved so far, if I noticed, very quickly. So the activity has been nice and there hasn't been much problems. Although as a senior moderator, I have seen reports of some sexism that tends to pop up when you let women in with men. But I think it has been just isolated cases. Really, we have a very great community here in Hattrick.
Yeah. I also I'm not gonna say that I'm surprised, but it's been like a few cases of people saying really stupid stuff, but very few, I think, and like the general feeling is very positive and nice, which is the way it should be, of course. So
yeah, to be fair, I really think the Hattrick community has been very nice in that sense. I don't know, the vision of a mod is probably more suitable than mine, but I didn't see any bad stuff or any big or frequent.
Deleted them before you saw them.
I can see them. Don't forget, I'm an HT. I see deleted messages.
That's how
Okay, so I'm seeing lots of questions that are very, very interesting. Let's start with a funny one. Nice jersey, Tassos. 10K is the number about the revenue income with HFI.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the chat, but a few months ago, I don't remember, I think, Chase, you remember when was that? We had this, we had that special day that Hattrick became 10,000 days old. So we had those special t-shirts.
But you have to turn around.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn around so you can see like the back what it says.
Blaming the match engine. 10,000 days blaming the match engine.
Yeah,
that's my favorite one too, because there were different phrases. 10,000 days off, and then like 10 models more or less. So yeah, my favorite one is blaming the match engine as well. We all do. I always blame the match engine playing against you, Tassos. So look, that's nice. What is that? Is it a hoodie or a jersey? What is
My
that? Jersey.
my special made.
Hey, it's not in the
Jersey.
shop.
Yeah. I today have the 15-year anniversary T-shirt.
I have that too.
Okay, and Heiko has a special shirt too, like customized.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This is
Czech.
actually a Czech community T-shirt. It's rather old. We used to have this football tournament every summer,
Mhm.
and I joined as a supporter of one of the teams. So I got one T-shirt with my name. This is the logo of our team in the cup. It's a panda. It's a bit. It's very old. It's with a ball. I have this one in yellow and one in blue.
Nice. If anyone else has any customized shirts, please mention it in the chat. It's always fun to know. And there are more questions about the kit design again. I don't know. It's kind of a follow-up question to what we had just said. Like, can you give us any expectation when we can expect to have them, or is that for some reason a complicated issue? Well, I think you said like 2 weeks or something like that.
I think some users have joined us a bit later, so I'm going to answer it again. That the kit designer and the match shirts, the reason that we don't have them yet is because the tool that creates them is outsourced. Someone said that why would we outsource the female kits? No, that's not the case. The tool in general that was built 100 years ago, that was in Flash. I don't know if you know what Flash used to be, because it doesn't exist anymore. So then we needed to migrate it to a platform that is more modern or exists right now. So that was done by someone we outsourced, and we've kept working with him. But now he needs to adapt the female bodies, so the shapes, so the kids can wear them, so to speak. The kids can be transformed into those shapes. So we are waiting for him. I don't think Johan will have a problem to say that he's from Ukraine. So it's like we want to keep working with him, and we have kept working with him because he needs an income too. But as you might imagine, things are unstable in that end. So we can't promise a date, unfortunately, because it's up to him. We have given him everything we can, and he is making progress, just not as fast as we had hoped. So
I think it's safe to say that it's not like seasons or months away. It's like a few weeks. It can be like a week, it can be like a few more weeks, but it's not that gonna be like this for like half a year.
No.
So soon we are gonna have that.
Okay, so a follow-up question about the series swap. Are the league that you wish for useless now because the 8th league got deleted? So can anyone take this question?
That's a very good question. I wasn't even aware, right? Because they signed up last week, so the preferred series window was still open. I would say yes. Sorry.
Even if they chose a league in the 7th division? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because when we reshuffled, it was just random. I mean, so.
Yeah, but anyway, there's the swap series tomorrow. So, I mean, what's the point of choosing a preferred series in the 7th division when there were no teams in the 7th division?
Exactly, it would be just the number. I want to be in.
Exactly, I love that number. So,
if I may,
Yeah, of
There
course.
is a reason, and it's when several people want to play together, 4, 5, 6, or even 8 friends want to play together. Then basically the only way they can do it is by setting the same preferred series. Because in the swap window, you can only swap with a bot team. And there aren't that many bot teams around. If you want to play with one guy, okay, that's easy. But if you want to fill a league with friends, you need a preferred series.
Yeah, that's why we left a few series that are almost empty. So friends can coordinate and all move to the same one. So now they need to act fast. So the window opens in 3.5 hours too.
I hope the server is ready for all the people who will log in exactly when the window opens.
Now, LA Alpa came here, so we should all thank him. He's the senior LA and all the LAs that he has coordinated for this project.
Yeah, I have to say that I told him if he wanted to join us when Zagata, the Latvian LA, told me that she couldn't come because she was feeling under the weather. And sadly, Alpa told me that he had a dinner today with some friends, so he couldn't join us. But maybe he's now gone to the toilet to check in between dishes and check the stream. I don't know. I had just seen a question for Heko, so let's highlight it. What's been your most surprising or memorable HT moment over the years? It could either be a personal or club achievement you're proud of, or an experience that you look back on and, whoa, that happened. That's a good question.
Oh, there are so many. Okay,
I don't want to have this question asked. It would take a while to...
Gameplay? Yeah, on the gameplay, I think one thing that I really remember is the one time when over the course of 2 weeks, the engine decided to wipe out my defense. Both keepers injured for 3 weeks minimum, all of the defenders, I think some other players too. I tried to buy a replacement for some, and then I had to pull young players every week, even though they were no good, just to have enough players on the field to be able to even play, because I ran out of money. I ran out of players. And this is for people who have been with us for more than a decade. This was so long ago that I calculated it was better for me to hire, I think, about 200 doctors so that my players would heal faster. It was in the times when it was possible to hire 255 staff members of each type. There was a drawback. I think I lost fans, or the team spirit drop or something like that. There was a drawback, but I was able to compete in about 3 weeks instead of 5. So that stuck with me for all the years. And on a more personal level, the Czech community know this, so I can say it. I met my husband on Hattrick, 12, and we now have a little kid, which I hope will enjoy Hattrick. Johan, he's 4.
Yeah,
he has to wait 9 years. Keep the game going.
I can promise you that. Yes. We'll keep it running for his sake.
Okay, there was another. There's another question. Let's see what you think. How do you feel about the rebranded design for women avatars? Do you like them?
I must say that I don't feel very strongly about them. They're just I think they fit for me, they fit the look of Hattrick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they're overly pretty, but on the other hand, I want to be the prettiest. So they can be.
Yeah.
And I think they look well enough for Hattrick.
Yeah, I've
I
seen
will
many
grow
people.
to like them over time even more. I know that some people feel very strongly against them, but
it was a really interesting, and it continues to be a very interesting design process. I think, like because as you all know, the male avatars are a little they're like very comic style and in some variations become a little bit grotesque, and which is part of our brand now, and like a lot of people like, especially Tassos loves it. The crazier the better. But we have had projects to update the male avatars into a direction that is, I mean, first of all, like with higher resolution, but also like a little prettier, like still with character, but maybe not so crazy. But it's very controversial because some users absolutely don't want us to go in that direction, and others do. But when it was time to do the female avatars, I mean, then the question, like, do we want them to be grotesque, or do we want to take the chance to make them a little bit prettier? And I think like everyone agreed that it's okay to make the female avatars a little prettier. And so, I mean, that was not because just because they're female, but because that's the direction that we wanted for the male avatars anyway. So in that sense, it's like maybe a chance for us to establish a direction that is a little bit different from what the male avatars are. And I can say that right now that I would like to see like a 2.0 for both of them, so that where we go in like a direction where they really become like with higher resolution and more detail and more variation and so on. But this was not the time to do that, because we really had we didn't want to change too much, like the way those faces are constructed is very similar to, I mean, they're not exactly the same way, but quite similar to each other, so we didn't have to change too much. Gusy might not agree on that point, but it's not that different. Yeah, I think there's, I'm happy with how they came out, but I still think they could have more character, and I think they will have in the future as well.
And for sure, they will be more enhanced when they are wearing customized kits. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And anyway, it's impossible to please everyone. Everyone has a different taste. So whatever avatar we chose, if they're too comical, they're too comical. They're too pretty, they're too pretty for other people. So it's hard. And I personally love them. I mean, I really like my players, and I have to say I prefer the female avatars out of the male.
Me too.
Before the male avatars,
and I don't think we would like change. I mean, like, I don't think we would like change the cartoony style in the way that it would disappear, but maybe the probability of getting a very weird looking character would go down a little bit, and there would be like more variation around like more normal faces, so to say. But yeah, this is not a discussion where everyone will agree for sure ever.
Exactly.
So,
I think it's impossible. Yeah. Actually, we've seen a few comments here saying that they miss the pixel art of the first faces.
Yeah, of course.
Bob Sunderson, etc.
We should go back to that.
Right.
Okay. What else? Yeah, I had highlighted this. Are you planning to ever add Asian faces, both for men and women? I honestly don't know what it exactly means, because Asian, there are different kinds of features.
I think
for
that
different
there is
regions.
supposed. Some of these are supposed to be Asian faces. They're actually called that in the, in the internal descriptions. But I think there are, like, in the way everything like came out, they are very similar to what we call Indian and Latino. So like there's like basically whiter and a little less white, and more African then. But yeah, I agree that is something that could be better. They are like facial features that are underrepresented today.
Yeah, it was actually when compiling the different faces today for the thumbnail of YouTube and the social media post, I was trying to get players from different countries to have some variety. And I could feel a difference, for instance, with Japanese eyes, but they're not big. The differences are not big. I think they're meant to be subtle, because you have to be careful with that, not to, be too cartoonish, and I know someone could be offended or not, and it's a tricky way. But I could feel the difference when I was looking at the players from the Japanese team compared to other teams that I looked from all over the world. So I agree that they're supposed to be Asian, but it's not super clear, maybe. Okay, more questions. Families. Will the family connection feature crossover between the men's and women's sides of the game? Who wants to take this one?
I can take that. I mean, when we decided to make this project, it was like huge, humongous. And then we decided, okay, how can we make it work? How can we make it releasable without it taking 2 years, right? So then it was like, okay, so we remove the transfer market. We start with a homegrown league. We remove all that has to do with arena, so we take that later. We, and family relations was one of the obvious things that is not needed for a league to run. We would love to have family relations, of course. How much cuter than having your mom, or like a mom, son, or a siblings, or not like our brother and sister, and all of that. That would be super amazing. But I think there are other things that come first. So do we want to have them? 100%. Will we be able to have them soon? That's a different question. So, yeah.
Okay, so more questions. I like this one. Can we enable series preference before the swap? Please, please, please. I think it's something related to what was mentioned before about the Hattrick calendar or weekly calendar being so methodical that we cannot change stuff, right? It's super tricky to add now a thing that's not supposed to happen now.
But is this a general question or for HFI? Because
I guess it's for HFI.
But the swap starts in 2.5 hours. So no, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, it wouldn't be possible to move the series preference. a preferred series, actually.
I mean, to have people choose it and reshuffle according to that, I guess it would have been, but the reshuffling, it took me like 5 hours. So if you were adding a layer on top of that, it would have complicated it even more. So
Yeah. So everything is not as simple as it may look from outside.
and I really thought it would be very simple, the reshuffling, but there was like stuff popping up all the time, and yeah. So
It's funny because there was a message today in the forum. We actually said that in order to be sure to play in the cup, if users wanted to start a team, they should do it before Wednesday and not later than 9 in the morning. Why did I say that? Because I wanted to avoid the case of someone opening a team and not being able to enter the cup. But there was one user who said, hey, it's like 12. Are you behind schedule? And that made me think of, first, it said no later than 9 for in order to be in the cup. It didn't say that the reshuffling would be done at 9, but also it made me think that it's actually taking a long time, and we didn't know. Neither did I know how long it would take. So it's really a complex process. I hope we don't have to do it very, very often for your sake, Gusy.
but I think it's great how many really passionate users we have that really want to know exactly the minute something is happening, so they can have control over it. I found that super impressive, and I'm proud to work for a game with such users. So
yeah, it's great. Actually, there was a moment in which you, Gusy, moved my team up the 7th division for a test. Just that. Which teams do we test with? Ours, because if something goes wrong, it's our team. So you moved mine, and 1 minute later, one user said, Chase is now in the 7th division, and he has had 10% more fans. So we will have 10% more fans. That's impressive. Impressive. I love these users, even though sometimes they may be like, hey, this is not working. There are not enough series. Wait, the process hasn't been finished. But yeah, I love it. I love this kind of hardcore users. So thank you, guys. Talking about hardcore users, we have Perst asking a question. And yes, you've asked it before. I had saved it, but the time hadn't come yet. But let's see it now. A third of users will face a bot in the first round of the cup or the league. Can the bots play a match, a friendly or a duel, during the weekend so that we get an idea of their strength?
Yes, I think so. We have done that in the past, so I think we should do it now. Yes.
Yeah, because
can someone write a task for it?
Tassos?
I have already written that. I read it in the forum earlier today, so
Good.
The guy is super effective. So that reminds me of one thing that I also mentioned to you, Gusy, privately, which is that when I saw my cup match, I saw that I'm playing with a human against a human, so normal. And then I checked other matches, and I saw that they were playing against bots, and their fans were expecting a huge loss. So it's probably because the bots are not as bad as we're used to. So we should pay attention to that. Maybe it's not an easy win.
No, but I think the fans thing is a bug, so we will have a look tomorrow.
Yeah. Good. So what else? Any more questions? There's one question, and it's not really related to HFI, but we can answer. We usually have questions like that. So is there no stoppage time in the first half for women's games either? there is a stoppage time, right?
In the
It should
first
be
half.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Match ending is the same except for the injuries and the announced stuff. So
No, we don't have any in the first half, right? It's like 45. There's not 45 plus 1. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, wow. I should pay more attention to my matches. What else? This one, for instance. Why has uploading kits stopped working for existing men's teams since the introduction of the women's league?
what?
Has it? It doesn't, right? I think I created one kit like a week ago. So
It says uploading kits. Yeah.
yeah, well, I guess it's like creating a kit for your team.
If you're having issues, then we're not aware. So please report to your GM. Thank you.
Exactly, using the contact form at the bottom of the website.
Or say that now to Heko. She's doing the bug reporting for GMs.
Okay. I'll go test it right now. Okay, if you insist.
You could create a ticket if there's something wrong. So another question. After 6 seasons, do I really have to decide which one to keep between my HFI team, Derry Girls, nice name, and my 4th team in Wales, that Old Badon Devils? Ooh, what a name. So that's if I understood correctly, that's another question that we have in the FAQs. So after 6 seasons, you will not have to choose between your teams because we will open or implement a 5th team slot, right? Is that correct?
For diamonds.
Yeah, for diamonds, of course.
Yes.
So if you guys see any more questions, because I'm still catching up. Like this one, for instance, how can we get 6 to 8 friends with an HFI team in the same division? Who wants to take this one?
I mean, it depends if it's 6 or 8.
Exactly. you can take it with 6 teams.
Yeah, I mean, the last ones like Division 7 to 100 around those and later are almost empty. So you coordinate with your friends. You have 2 hours and 16 minutes, and then you all move to that series. Yeah.
It must be tricky, right? I mean, you have to coordinate and choose a series that. What happens if any other user chooses the same series? It's order, like preference.
Over.
Yeah, it's immediate. That's when you click, then you are moved. So.
And you can only move once.
Exactly.
So maybe other forums opened, because it might be a good idea to call dibs. So these groups, so 2 groups like this, don't try to take the same series.
Yeah.
I think it should be done at the same time. All your friends going there at the same time, because if someone takes like 5 hours, someone could take his place or her place. So,
but if you have 2 groups of 6 people, and both groups choose the same series, and they get on it exactly at midnight.
But I mean, one will be
with a mixed series.
Yeah.
Because they will not notice while they're clicking very quickly to get there first. It's some other 6 people are doing it at the same time. So I think the key is to communicate in the forums, perhaps. And the series forums, there's a preview on the series page. So if this group of people come to the series and open a thread and say, hello, we would like to use this series. So other groups will know
that's
there will be this attempt, and it will be safer to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And maybe I wouldn't recommend doing it when it opens, because many people would do it when it opens, and that's when confusion could arise. So I don't know, maybe, I mean, there are like 100 groups to choose from, actually, with six. The last time I saw 6 or 7 available teams. So it's
Yes.
it could be a coincidence, but if everyone chooses the first group with 7 slots, so I would say choose a random number and a random hour so that you don't coincide with other groups of 6 friends. But
Yeah, but I like Heko's idea because each series has a forum, right? So if you like write in the forum for that series saying, hey, we want to,
yeah,
we are 6 people that want to join here, so please leave the spots empty.
yeah,
Civilized.
cold dibs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly. So, what else? Yeah, a question. It's actually for Gusy. I said at the beginning, can we already congratulate HT-Gusy as the winner of the HT's HFI division group, simply based on history and the HGL, the Homegrown League happenings? You thrashed us there in the Homegrown League.
You still haven't gotten over that, right?
I still remember, I mean, I was unlucky enough to play against you in the first match without knowing what would come, what would happen. You know, I was thinking, okay, we have the same teams.
How did you come to have a midfield with those possible players?
But how did you do it? I mean, I didn't expect such a strong midfield in the first game, and I was thrashed. Was it 5-1 or 6-1? I know. I had I don't know, the hope, I would say, to be competitive and, you know, give some a good fight, and no, it was impossible. So, but you don't have a female team now at the
No,
moment.
I don't. I mean, no. I
You
mean,
still have time.
yeah. I mean, it's 2 reasons. One is that I hardly have time for my team. I had an additional team once, just homegrown team, not in a homegrown league, just for fun to take it like with homegrown players all the way to the top league, and I did, and it was a lot of some fun, but it was very time consuming. So one reason is that, and the other one is that I mean I love the female league. I'm super happy that we have it, but it has been very, very, very stressful for me this past few weeks. Like for real, I've had like stress issues. So I'm not in love with that idea yet of having a team. I get a little bit anxious of the whole thought still. So, but I will find the joy, and I will have a female team at some point. So
Yeah, but I mean, I wanted to fight back now with equal chances, and I insisted, but no way. I wanted revenge.
It's okay.
Of course,
He can start next season and she will still beat you. So
yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so more questions. What do you think about game engine changes in the future in Hattrick Femme International? There are some interesting ideas out there. Maybe trailing like in the youth with primary and secondary training that could help raise the interest to stay longer at HFI. I leave that one for Tassos, who has been silent for a while.
yeah.
Tassos.
Yeah, I made a comment in Global about that, and at least that's my opinion, that if we do something correct, if we do like a really nice change, why we keep it only for female leagues? Why not have it for male as well? So HFI is not like a sandbox. It's not like a place that we test things that we are not sure. Otherwise, we are going to mess up the experience for 12,000 users. So we need to be sure that whatever we do, we like it. And if we like it, then we can have it in males as well. So what we could have in female is things that are actually different. It's like an alternative kind of game, not like a better or worse game, but like an alternative way. And those are the ideas that can be implemented there. However, yeah, we had a lot of ideas. We wanted to do a few things. We actually postponed a few of them because we want to have them in male words as well. I'm gonna give a spoiler. Someone found one idea that we wanted to do in female, and we decided to do it for both female and male. And it's in the comments. I'm not gonna say which one. I will just like someone read our minds, and it will be in both. So you can go and read all the comments, but someone found out something we want to do later on.
We have hundreds of comments.
Yeah, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to have something that battle between male and female. And for example, training. If we believe that having primary and secondary training is better for the game experience, then we can have it for both of them. Of course, it's harder to introduce them in male because this is like 27 years ahead, and there is like plans that have been created by users. And of course, HFI can be used as something that can be introduced first there. And then we can say, okay, we introduce it to HFI because plans are fresh, so they can be adapted. But in 2-3 seasons, they will be on male as well, or like 5 seasons or whatever. I'm not so sure we can find things we can do exclusively for HFI that are like big changes as introduced in the forum, like as people keep talking about. I think those are more difficult to be done.
Yeah, it was also difficult, like, to find like different game mechanics for male and female. Like, it's, of course, there are differences in how the game is played, but it's very hard to translate that into something that is so abstract as the Hattrick game engine. Like, I mean, it's not like the players have a certain speed when they run around. It's all relative. So I think it would have been quite confusing to do these kind of things as well. But we discussed quite a lot of possible changes, at least.
Okay, I'm highlighting lots of interesting questions. I don't know if we'll be able to answer all of them, but there was an interesting one. Let me see if I can find it. Well, first of all, I'll highlight this comment, which is very nice. You see, we're also thankful for keeping our favorite game and hobby run as smooth as possible. Thank you, Stanchev.
I love Hattrick too, so.
Yeah, we all do. Now, for instance, this one. Will there be male trainers in the women's league and women trainers in the men's league in the future?
I can take that. Oh, yeah, take it if you want.
That's you remember the whole story with the texts? So that was the thing. Of course, it would be super wonderful to have both male staff, not only trainers, in the female team and vice versa. But the problem is the whole text. So, for example, the match events, for example, in a female team that are in female context, but if the trainer is male, then we would need to introduce like a separate tag just to refer to the trainer, and then get the gender for the trainer to see which way we go. I don't know if I'm getting too technical from this, but that's when one of the decisions, like all the shortcuts we took in order to be able to release, one of them was that. So like the female war has basically everyone is female, so we can just get female text and they will work. But of course we would like that idea eventually. It will be work for a lace, so I can almost guarantee that it won't happen soon because we have overworked them for quite a while. But yeah, it's mainly that. It might sound like a silly reason, but I mean, if you have a male coach in a female team, then you want it to be referred as him, right? And vice versa. So yeah, that's mainly the reason behind it.
Yeah, and I think it would be tricky It already is, I think, for some countries like Iceland, for instance, that they have the surname is a patronymic. It uses the name of the father. So for the daughter should use the surname of, it would be the name of the father plus dote. So it's chaotic. I mean, it's hard to make it really, really well, like faithful from real life. But I guess it still exists now for the male. So I guess they just keep the same surname. But I think it overall, for instance, also with Slavic surnames, right? Heko can confirm. You probably have the same surname as your father, but with an A at the end, right?
Actually, the way Czech surnames change is by giving the ending ova. There are exceptions if it's if it's not a noun, then it can be just switching to ending with an A. And there are very specific rules for the surnames in how they change, which we don't notice because we were raised around this. And I think Slovak is like this also. I think they do it the same way. Not sure about other Slavic languages. But
So
on the other hand, you just fill the database with surnames, and unless you guys want to introduce getting married for the players, we're done.
Exactly.
And they don't have to change surnames. It's not mandatory. We can get married. We can keep each our surname. The men can take the women's surname. We don't have to go the traditional way, so Hattrick can be very forward. In this, allow the female players to have whatever surname they want.
Yeah, exactly. So the issue here would be if male surnames have the same, like a female version of the surname, they're not linked together in our databases. So having husband, wife in case of keeping the same surname, or father, daughter would be really hard to implement, I think.
Yeah,
So
you just have to base it on something else than surname. Let's just say they are both very good players of football. They hope to become celebrities. They just keep their names.
Exactly.
Many women do it already because they work under their name, so they keep it even when they don't marry, so that they are still recognized.
Okay, we have a question about music. Do we have a Hattrick anthem? I bet HT could play it with a guitar, and that's the part that I liked. Who of the other HTs would like to be a singer? I have one who would probably love it.
And I think that's the only one.
Well, you like singing as well too, Gusy.
I mean, Juan sings very well, and then we have Daniel who sings. He likes to sing, but I mean, yeah. So I would go for Juan there.
Yeah.
Out of those.
I can do backup chorus and stuff.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, Juan sings beautifully. Yeah.
Yes. No, if we ever gonna do an anthem, it should be for next year. Let's park that idea.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a question related to that, asking us if you were excited about the 30th anniversary. So I guess Jochen, you can reply to this one.
Yeah, I can. We have been working on a project. We have announced it also, the book. So that is underway, and it's really fun and a lot of work. And the book has been like a little bit parked now for a few weeks because HFI took every ounce of energy. But we'll soon push ahead with that and have a crowdfunding campaign for the book. But so that is one of the things that we're doing. But yeah, in general, it's going to be a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. So I haven't like I don't, let's say, I don't want to think about all the things that is gonna be done until the anniversary right now, because then I will feel overwhelmed. But it's gonna be a cool year and a cool milestone for us. 30 years next August.
Good.
And I can tell you that's not a lot of websites that survive 30 years, or games for that matter, which is pretty cool.
There's also another comment here by Pirst. It's not a question, but have Gusy more often on the stream, please. It's very refreshing, directly involved in the development with very direct and clear answers. What do you say, Gusy? Would you like to join us more often, or is it more work?
No, I mean, this also doesn't feel like work, so sure.
Okay,
Thank you. Plus through.
That's a hard name to pronounce. I guess Heko can pronounce it well. Slavic names.
Probably the word prst in Czech means finger.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's just a Czech word. Also, I vaguely remember the user. He's not Czech.
He's Croatian, I think.
We can't take credit.
Yeah, he's Croatian, yeah.
I thought he was a priest, so.
I studied some Czech for 6 months, and man, that was hard to pronounce, especially that R with the circumflex, the inverted circumflex. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to pronounce George in Czech for months.
It's hard for us too.
Yeah,
I actually. What was it? We learned.
I actually met a guy from the Czech Republic called Jiří. I don't know if I pronounced it close, but it has that sound. And he said that he had to go to the doctor, to the speech doctor, to pronounce his own name for that letter when he was a kid, of course. But it seems that it's very hard to pronounce. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one who struggled with that. Okay, so if you see any more comments, because there are many questions and some of them we cannot cover. We've been here for 1 hour and a half and it's getting a bit long, I think, for everyone. But if you see any other questions that you want to answer to, you know, something like interesting, for instance, there's this one we can answer in a minute. How many teams will promote in the first season in the female league? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Tassos. I'll leave it for you.
As it is now, it will be 4.
Exactly, and that's it. That's a good answer. Okay.
Clean and direct.
Exactly. What we needed now. Okay. I don't see any other questions that we can cover now quickly. But I don't know if you see any. Otherwise, we can call it a day.
Yeah, I think Gusy, you made us reach a number of viewers that I don't think we've had before. But we have to, and Heko, of course, also. It's nice to have new faces on the stream.
Yeah, it's great.
Someone is asking about the answers for the contest, but I guess you need to like close it first.
Yes, exactly. So I think I wrote it at the beginning of the document. We will review it after the stream is over. We'll close it, and then tomorrow the 10 best replies, the ones with the most correct answers, will get an invitation in their HT mail, provided that you have given us the real username and the correct user ID. Otherwise, it will be impossible. So, thank you, everyone. Thanks, Heko, for joining us. Thanks, Gusy, and my usual stream mates. It's been great, and everyone have fun and join the HFI if you haven't done it yet. And it will be great. And I hope Gusy will join us too soon so that I can try to get close to her level. So thank you, everyone. I don't know if you guys want to say anything, but otherwise,
have a good night.
Thank you, everyone, viewers and guests.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.